So I figured we should probably talk about Spider-Man Lotus, which if you've been on Twitter yesterday, then you probably know what I'm talking about. If you don't even know what Spider-Man Lotus is in the first place, Spider-Man Lotus is a Spider-Man fan film that is planned to be released on YouTube this summer by director Gavin J. Conop, and it's basically kind of like Spider-Man story, but focusing more on the human drama aspects of the character, and that's something I really like. If you watch the trailer, which I highly recommend it looks great. It looks like a really, really good film, and honestly, looks better than some of the stuff that Sony's been giving us with their Spider-Man movies. So that's what makes it even sadder with the controversy that we had yesterday, because the lead actor of the film, Warden Wayne, who plays Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, some screenshots of messages he sent from his past have leaked online, showcasing him using some very racist language, using the N-word and that kind of nature. And so that's obviously not great. And, I saw it at first and I was like, oh, that's really not good. But then it, completely blew up and it was trending on Twitter all day yesterday. So it was really unfortunate. And, of course, Warden, he came out and did an apology and everything, explaining things as, it's kind of his had to do with his upbringing, his parents, their beliefs, and he was trying to fit in with his friends and stuff, so he had to go to this kind of language and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it is understandable, but still not at all acceptable to be using that kind of language. And then what's even worse is that after that, we had the director of the film, Gavin J. Conop. He then screenshots of him using that kind of language and using the F word, both F words actually, and a whole bunch of other terrible, unexcusable language also leaked online, along with some actual voice memos of him saying this stuff. So that was not great. Of course, he released an apology as well, and it's kind of basically the basic gist of every apology after celebrity some sort of exposure like this, where they're like, oh, I can't forget, I have to acknowledge my past, take responsibility, I don't condemn this, and it's unacceptable, I'm disgusted with my past, and I'm trying to get better and all that stuff. So the only problem with this now is that this has kind of put a damper on the whole Spider-Man Lotus project, because this looks like a great movie and it's something I'm really excited for, but now a lot of fans have turned against this movie because of this, saying oh, I don't want to watch a racist Spider-Man. But it's not like he's going to be saying that stuff in the movie. And I don't know, it's a really hard topic to talk about, because like I said, using that kind of language and what they said and did is completely unexcusable. It's disgusting, it's gross, and should not all be something that we're okay with. But they're still making the movie, and I'm still excited for this movie. It's like the situation we had with James Gunn, where honestly the stuff that he said and did all those years ago that was kind of dug up recently, or at least a couple years ago, that stuff was way worse than what Warden and Gavin said here in these messages. Yet we all forgave him, Disney rehired him, and now we think of him as one of the greatest directors, and we love his work. So that's kind of the perspective I'm taking it from, is that clearly James Gunn, he changed. He saw the error in his ways, and he kind of became reformed. And these messages from Warden and Gavin are from a long time ago. And so I watched Gavin did a live stream on his channel the other day. It was a Q&A for Spider-Man Lotus, and just watching that live stream, I could really tell that he seems like a genuinely good guy. He seems like a really nice guy. He even said that the whole reason he's doing this film is to kind of show that these people like Spider-Man, they're super relatable, and if Spider-Man can get through loss and bullying and all that stuff, then you can too. And I just feel like I don't know, it obviously these messages change the perspective a bit, but I still feel like they've changed, and obviously the work that they've done on this movie is completely separate from who they are as a person. So even if they still do act this way and still say these kinds of things, just separate that from their work. Because like, what, again, going back to James Gunn, like, you look at something like the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, those things are amazing movies and amazing series, but watching that, you separate that from thinking about, oh, James Gunn said those nasty stuff all those years ago, so this thing isn't going to be good. Like, no, that, like, it's completely separate, at least as far as we're aware. So it's up to you. It really is up to you. They're still making the movie. It's up to you whether you still feel comfortable watching it. It will be weird kind of having a reminder watching Spider-Man and having that in the back of your mind of like, oh, he said those things. But if you could put it aside, I don't know. I'm still going to watch it. I'm still excited for it. I think it looks like a great movie, but I do not at all excuse this language and this behavior from these two individuals. We actually even had the Green Goblin actor, also John Salandria, also messages of him saying some nasty stuff. And turns out actually it was like a 15-year-old kid that has been like plotting against Gavin for years that just like exposed him on all this stuff. It's actually kind of funny. If you go on Twitter, you'll see some of this stuff. It was like literally a kid that was like 10 years old, and he used to be friends with Gavin, and then like he like Gavin became famous for Spider-Man Lotus and everything, and kind of left this guy behind. And then he was like, oh, I have a grudge on you, I'm gonna get revenge. And then like 5 years later, he's 15 years old and he exposes all of them. So that part of it is kind of funny. Kind of like a psychotic fanboy, but I don't know. We'll see how things go. Again, the movie's still coming. I'm still excited for it. I'm still gonna watch it. But you can let me know your own thoughts in the comments below. So, guys, what do you think about this news with Spider-Man Lotus and this whole controversy? Do you still want to watch this movie, or has this news kind of just completely turned you off? So, anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.